Okay, cool. So thank you everyone for tuning in and taking your time to join this masterclass. We'll be looking at the role of a modern day number eight. Okay, so if you can just ensure that you're on mute and we can use the chat box feature. Okay, just give me a thumbs up if you can just see my presentation and also hear me as well, just when we're during the presentation. Okay. Okay, so a little bit about me. So currently I am a UEFA B candidate. Currently coaching at the under-23s at Reading City. So their first team play in step 5 of the English pyramid, and the under-23s are at step 7. Okay, all right. So we're a young side with the ambitions of pushing players through the football pyramid and giving them exposure into men's football. And I'm also owner of MO Football Coaching as well. So MO being my initials, Mimi Olaide. Okay, so session outcomes. Okay, we're going to identify roles and responsibilities of a number 8, in and out of possession, and then identify attributes required for a number 8. Okay, nice little icebreaker in the chat box. I want you to name your favorite number 8 midfield player, and let's see if we can gather some different conversation and different starters. So let's see who is the first one to ping it through. Gerard, good. So old school, perfect. We got, excluding myself and Matt, we've got 14. So we've got 12 in. So yeah, Iniesta, and just Iniesta, good. Any others? KDB, yeah, good. Valverde, De Bruyne, yeah. Christian, yeah. Is that the one that used to play for, is it Claudio Marchi? Is that the one who's played for Juventus, Brian? So Boslai, Xavi, Modric, good. Any more? Anyone else? Any other players? Fabian Ruiz, good. Madison, would you say he's an 8 or a 10? Was that up for debate? Was he a 10? Trent could be an 8. Cool. For a reason I leave, cool. I'm sure Matt will be able to answer that question, Elman. Okay, cool. So we're gonna Billy Gilmore, good. Okay, cool, nice. So good. We've have a good sound understanding of our positions and the players. That's a good start. Okay, so if we look at a modern day traditional number 8, or in the era of the Gerrard, Iniesta, Xavi, Modric still playing as well, a number 8 traditionally operates as a box-to-box player. So box-to-box meaning they will both do the attacking roles and defensive roles. But more so recently, the number 8 role has evolved and developed in where players will play within the so-called half spaces and within the channels. So a great example of this will be Kevin De Bruyne. So if we look at his heat map, this was a game against West Ham last season. You can see how all the dots. So we're looking from him going towards his attacking up where the arrow is here. We're looking at a lot of his play was done in the opposition's midfield and attacking third, and then some of his play was done in his defensive third. And if you look at if we look at De Bruyne and where he picks up a lot of his position and does a lot of his damage, is mainly done within the left-hand channel of the half space, here where my arrow is here, and then we can see around the central area here. Okay, so as the role has now developed and evolved for players to operate either in the right side channel or sometimes also in the left hand channel as well. Okay, but then also remembering that when we go forward and when we attack, we also need to have the discipline of the defensive side to also do the tackling, the interceptions, the blocks, the breaking down of play as well within the role. Okay, so some players that I've highlighted and you've also highlighted as well. So you've got Fabian Ruiz, we've got Frank Lampard, we've got Gerrard, we've got Paul Pogba, we've got Andres Iniesta. So just a range of different old school centre midfielders, probably mainly Lampard, Gerrard, Iniesta from like my era. And then with all the budding up and coming players, we've got Fabian Ruiz, Paul Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne, Pedri as well, and then Curtis Jones as well. I really tried really hard to find a current centre midfielder from England. I really tried with that. Obviously, with me being a coach in England, I like to try and find the English players that I can also relate to as well. Cool. So this, I've just got some formations here. So if we're looking at the Blues, so I'm looking at the Blues, I'm working with the blue team. Okay, this is a 4-4-2. So this is one formation where you will find a number 8. Where I coach in England, I know we have various players from different parts of different all over the world. I know that the number 6 within the European countries are associated with the holding midfielder. But where I've gone through my coaching courses and how they like to coach us, we associate the 4 as a holding midfielder and then the 8 as one of the centre midfielders. So in a 4-4-2, so you'll see them operate as a flat back 4, 1 goalkeeper, flat back 4, 2 centre midfielders. The 4 necessarily could be that holding midfielder, and then the 8 will then be the box to box. But depending on the situation of the game, they could also swap roles as well. And then you've got a 7 out wide, a right winger, and a left winger, 11, and then you've got the 2 strikers, a 9 and a 10. And then in a 4-3-3, so if I'm working with the blue team, I've got a back 4. A number 2, 5, 6, and 3. So my right back, centre back, 2 centre backs and left back. I've got my holding midfielder, and then where we're shedding light on the number 8 here. So the number 8 within a 4-3-3 teams will operate with 2 number 8s for argument's sake and numbers' sake. When we're playing football, we can't obviously use the same numbers, but in a 4-3-3 with 1 single pivot, you'll generally have 2 number 8s that will both do the box to box. So the arrows are just indicating the different movements that they can go. So if we're looking at the 8 to go forwards, to go out into the right channel, or to come centrally, or to track back. So yeah, in terms of formations, the 4-3-3 is probably my favorite formation in terms of having an overload, playing with a single pivot, allowing space for the centre backs, and then for the number 8 to become a double pivot, maybe out of possession for that security, but then also then support the play going forward. So if you notice from my illustration here, I've added the half spaces, and where ideally we want yourself as a number 8 to play and occupy. So as I alluded to, through the evolution of a number 8, supporting within the half spaces and the inside channels. So if we look here, is ideally where we want the number 8 to operate. And then as you can see, again, working with the blue team, there's player relationships. So the 8 will have a player relationship with the 2 in possession, and the 8 can also have a player relationship with the 7 as well. And then going forwards will then combine with the 9. So this is just another formation. So if we're looking at the 4-4-2 diamond, so again a flat back four, we have a number four, one holding midfielder, and then the 7 and 8 in this instance will be two central midfielders. So rather than being wingers in this situation, there'll be two central midfielders. I know of Real Madrid playing last season. They played quite narrow with their two central midfielders operating either side. And then they play then two split strikers. So the number 8 in this situation will be a left central midfielder in this illustration here. Okay, so I've just got this next I've just got some roles and responsibilities of a number 8 that we can unpick. So in possession, so we're looking for the number for you as a number 8 to be able to receive the ball from the defensive unit. So if I go back to the clip here of the 4-3-3, okay, is how well can they? Cool. So sorry. Okay. Cool. So if I'm looking at the number 8 in a 4-3-3, so how well can they link and receive the ball from either the number 2, from the 5, to receive the ball from the defensive unit and then build the attack and create the attack? So progress and penetrate through forward passes to break lines into the 7 or into the 9. So again, if I'm looking from a coaching perspective, I'll expect and I demand of my players to always think forwards and to always play forwards and always to look to see if they can break the lines of the opposition. So when they receive the ball from the defensive unit, is the first thought to make sure their body shape is correct, receiving the ball on the half turn, on their back foot to play forward, and then look to break the lines into their attacking unit. If it's on, if not, can they retain the ball and then progress it through dribbling? Combine with the defensive and attacking units. So combine with a back four, combine with a 2, 5, and 6. Forward runs beyond the attacking unit. So if I link back to my 4-3-3. So if I link back to my 4-3-3, can you as a number 8, can you make runs beyond the number 9 if the number 9 drops short for the ball? If the number 9 drops short before the ball, are you able to run in behind and then receive the ball? If the ball's here, receive the ball either from the 4 or from the 10 or even from the 7 and make that forward run into the space and recognize where you can exploit the space. Okay. Midfield rotations with the 4 and 10. So depending on how the game's going, the 8 could become a number 4, or the 8 could find themselves on the left hand side of the pitch between rotations, depending on how the game is. Okay, can they look to play passes through, around, into, or beyond, or onto or beyond the opposition? So can they play through into the 9? Can they play around into the 2 or 7? Can they play into the 9 or into the 10? Or can they go beyond if it's going to go direct into the 9? So different range of passes that as a number 8 within a team that you play will be the given the expectation of what you should and want to do. Okay, occupying space between the opposition defensive midfielder and the number 9 teammate. So again, recognizing if the number 9 drops short, can you then become the number 9 in a phase of play, and can you occupy spaces between your midfield third and then the opposition's defensive third or your attacking third. Some out of possession, so recognize when to hold, when to step up, when to drop or slide in relation to where the ball is. Be compact as a midfield unit. So as soon as you lose the ball, first thought is, can you be compact? The aim within any team is for the ball not to be played through, but can they play around or can they go beyond and force them out wide? Compete in aerial drills within open play and then defensive set pieces. Compete in 1v1 duels, so having that combative strength, the physical strength to compete in duels. Press and mark opposition midfielder. So again, if you're playing a 4-3-3 into versus a 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2, can you identify who you need to mark? In the next clip, I've got some illustrations and I've got some visuals of an in possession pattern of play that will then put all of these bits of information into practice. Intercept passes, so can they slide and screen in intercept passes and then get their team on the attack? Get narrow, provide support, cover and balance in relation to where the ball is, if it's in a central position. So these are just the roles and responsibilities of you'd say a modern day number 8. The way how I see a number 8 in my team are these are basic in possession principles and in possession roles and responsibilities that you as a player in a number 8 will be expected to do. So those of you who are playing in number 8 as your primary position, you'll start thinking the last game you've had, yep, I did that. Yes, I do that. Yes, I do that. Yep, I need to do more of that. So these are just roles and responsibilities of a number 8 in and out of possession. And then as we come towards the end of the presentation, I'll give you an opportunity to ask me questions and delve a bit deeper into what I've said. And then lastly, win second loose balls in the midfield. That will be a priority as a number 8. Okay, so I've got a visual. Okay, and I'll stop it. I'll pause it in between. Okay, so again, I'm working with the Blues and I'm focusing on the number 8. So as you can see, we want to play out from the back. If we want to keep the ball, if the 5 and 6 split, then create space for the 4. 4's got the ball. So as you can see, the 8 is drawing. The blue 8 is drawing away their opposition number 8 to receive the ball. And as you can see from the 2 and the 3, you want them high and wide. So then again, it creates space for you as a number 8 to receive the ball and progress it. As you can see, as I said about the player relationships, so that then if we're looking at our shapes and what shapes we want to make, so a triangle, so player relationship with a 5 and the 2, so the 8 receives the ball. Obviously, opposition now will be doing a pressing as they're close. Oh, oops, sorry. Pause. So as the ball's being played, the opposition 8 will come and press, and the 9 will come and press the 5, try and engage. then out to the 5, into the 2, player relationship. And as you can see, the moment the 8 got the ball, the moment the 8 passed the ball on, the first thought is, can the blue 8 penetrate and can they go forwards, exploit the space to then receive the ball off the number 2, and then can they now combine with a 9? And as you can see, the 9 will then combine with a 10. Just keep an eye out on the blue 8 and have a watch at what the blue 8 does in possession. So the 9 will then drag out the the 9 will then drag out the 5 and 6 to then create the space for the 8. For the 8 to receive it from the 10 and then through on goal. Okay. I'll just go back to the end of start. Okay. And if we're looking at pitch geography, and if we're looking at the zones of the pitch, so if we look at the zones, if you're at 8 in a 4-3-3, you'll be on the left hand side. So we're looking for, if I get my, so we're looking for the 8 to occupy the 7, zone 7, zone 10, zone 13, potentially zone 16 as well, and zone 4. So if we're looking at a 4-3-3 formation of 1 single pivot and two central midfielders, we're looking for them to occupy the zone 1, zone 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and then for them then to drift in to 11 and 14. Okay, so if you want to make note of what zones you're required to cover, okay, 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, potentially 11, 14, and then depending on the state of the game, 17 as well. So as you can see, as a number 8, you're expected to, like I said, you're expected to cover the defensive third, and then also the attacking third, and then also your midfield third. So there's a lot of running, and that needs to happen to be an effective number 8. Cool. So I'm just going to shed light now on one of our players, so KDB, okay, Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, receiving skills, so scanning, checking of the shoulder before receiving the ball, body position, always looking to receive on a half turn, receiving the ball back to goal as well, front foot receiving the ball receiving the ball aerially with grace and control. So in terms of attributes, we're looking at a number 8 for yourself to have good receiving skills in different situations. So back to goal, on the half turn, facing forwards, so you can then build and create the attack. Decision making, so realizing when to pass, the type of pass, when to make forward runs, and when to shoot. So decision making. Use of body, so being able to use your body to screen and protect the ball from the opposition. So being physically strong. Technical execution, so weight of pass, having a quality first touch, a quality ball control, being able to trap the ball with different parts of your feet, your inside, your sole, your outside of your foot. So technical execution as our in possession attribute. So again, receiving skills, decision making, use of body, technical execution. Those are sort of my key four attributes that I look for in players who are looking to play as a number 8, and then in terms of how I can then develop and support them. So I've just got a video here, okay, to put some of it into practice and action. Okay, so we're looking at forward passing and movement into the box from Kevin De Bruyne. So as you can see, once Jack Grealish has passed the ball, his first thought is that can I then play a 1-2? As you can see, Kevin De Bruyne is exploiting the space left by the back four of Crystal Palace. He's exploiting the space, seeing how he can link with his player and with his teammate. Receives the ball. So as you can see, De Bruyne, again, he's looking to exploit the space and run into the space. He's not just happy with just receiving the ball. He's not just happy with just playing the pass, but he wants to get in on the action. He wants to see if he can create and score goals. And then once he knows the ball's gone back to Rodri's quick thinking to then bounce it to De Bruyne, and then for him to then score. So again, as a number 8, one of your first thoughts is, how can I arrive into the box and get goals and ultimately be the difference for my team? Okay. So some out of possession attributes. So strength, so to be physically strong in 1v1 duels and regains of possession. Okay, recognize pressing triggers, so square passes, poor passes, poor first touch, and regains on loose balls. Positioning and timing, so timing of challenges, of tackles and duels, where and when, so when to challenge, where to challenge, and then having good positioning to intercept and read the opposition's passes. So again, I've just got a clip here. Again, Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, so this clip here is him winning some duels and then being able to retain the ball under pressure and then effectively get a goal for his team. You can see here, he's got a duel here. He's got 1v1 with Rudiger. He's receiving the ball under pressure, bit of strength to then check. Okay, so if we just reset it here, he's looking to combine. Again, if we're looking at where the space is, we're looking at the space being here. He combines with Grealish. So you've got here 1, 2, 3, a 3-on-2. And as the two, they're able to wriggle themselves out of that situation. And then to go into a duel, so being physically strong, to compete and put your body on the line to win possession. And then after that, he's not done with that challenge, but he obviously wants the ball. He's gone in a foot race with Rudiger. Okay, so he's showing that tenacity, that work rate, that desire to win the ball. Okay, and then ends up again going shoulder to shoulder with Rudiger, and then from this clip he wins his side a throw-in. So in terms of the reasons why I'm showing you this is, again, if you're looking to be a good all-round number 8, okay, can you do the ugly side? Can you win the ball back? Can you throw yourself into challenges? Can you use your body to retain possession and win possession back? And then from this clip here, you can see how he's under pressure from Kante. He's able to evade Kante and have that strength and that determination. He evades the challenge. He stands up strong, and then carries on to then have a shot and scores. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. We've come to sort of the end of my presentation. If there's any questions, then yeah, fire away either in a chat box, or if you want to come off mute, and if you want me to go back to any slides, then yeah, let me know. But thank you for your participation, and I'll leave the rest for you in terms of what how we want to unpick the rest of the masterclass.
Thanks very much, Mimi. That was a really good session. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to either write into the chat now or unmute yourself and Mimi can organize answering you. So yeah, I can already see there's a question in the chat box. So off you go, Mimi.
Cool. Cool. Okay, so I'll answer. So Josiah first. Whenever I play centre midfield, I hesitate when I get the ball. Is there a way to fix that? Okay, cool. So again, when I coach my players and in terms of my philosophy and how I see the game, is I'll always say to the players, have pictures in your head. So as soon as you before you receive the ball, are you scanning before you ask for the ball? And do you know where you want to play the ball? So again, depending on your philosophy in terms of the team you're playing at, but if we're looking at bringing up and coming buddying football players, I'll say your first thought is to play forward. So if you're in the number 8 position, like I said, the player relationship, okay, can you play the ball out to your number 7, your right winger, or can you go direct into your number 9's feet? Okay, or can you play a pass into your 10? So already there is 3 different pictures you can have. So I think before you receive the ball, ensuring you're scanning, you're looking around, and you're having those pictures in your head. If it's a case of whereby you can play a pass and you can just blend it and bounce it back to your teammate, then that can be an option. But kind of always have those pictures, or have one safe pass that right, when I've got the ball, am I going to turn out and play out to my number 7, or am I going to try and play out and play out into my number 9? Yeah, does that help, Josiah, answer your question? Okay, cool. Okay, is it Tiernan? Have I said it correctly? Okay. So what do you mean? What do you mean by front foot receiving, and when is it useful instead of receiving back foot? So receiving the ball on a back foot, on the back foot, it's either back foot or front foot receiving. If you're receiving it, depending on where you're going, essentially your back foot can also be your front foot. So it's just the terminology used within the football is either receiving it on your back foot to play forwards, depending on where you're standing and in relation to the ball. But it's a term that I've coined in terms of, can you receive it with an option to always play forwards? So once you receive the ball, can we look to then your second touch to be to play forwards? And when is it useful instead of your back foot? Okay, so I've got so on. Is that okay, Tiernan, or do you want me to? Is that okay with the response? Can you? So. A minute. Okay, cool. So can you give me some tips on how to be confident? Because most young midfielders now, including me, we would be scared to make mistakes and give the ball away, therefore playing it safe most of the time. Or is it mental strength thing? Because some coach encourage risk taking, giving the ball away, as it is a learning progress. Some are strict. Okay, so I will try to unpick and answer this question from me as a football coach point of view. Let me try and just get some of the slides. Let me go back to the formation. Let's go to the 3-4-3. Okay, just so we've got some visual representation of what we're talking about, so everyone can see. Okay, so I think mistakes are part of football. as we know. It's how we bounce back. If you're playing 90 minutes, 80 minutes, 70 minutes, 60 minutes game of football, okay, you're going to have lots of opportunities and lots of chances to practice and create. So in terms of making mistakes, you shouldn't be afraid to make mistakes or give the ball away, because you essentially have 9 other players, excluding the keeper, 10 other players, 10 other players to help to rally around you if you do give the ball away. And always have the option of, yes, okay, play safe. However, in terms of if you're going to stretch yourself and if you're looking to push on with your football career, are the safe passes the best passes, or do you want to be expansive and do you want to be creative and dynamic and play forward passes that can support and help your team essentially get close to the goal and score? In terms of where it says, because some coaches encourage risking and giving the ball away as it's a learn process, some are strict. Okay, so yeah, so for the strict ones and for strict, I said, some where you've come across different strict coaches, can't really speak for them in terms of what and how they want their players to do. But I'd say football, you're going to make mistakes. It's about how you bounce back and how you adjust and work to overcome those mistakes. And challenging yourself, not always to play the safe passes. So I'd say if it's a case of whereby you want to overcome the fear of failure and the fear of making a mistake, then it could, a thing whereby have the mindset of a game is about mistake. A game of football, you're gonna make mistakes, but are you gonna make more mistakes, or are you gonna make more chances where you're gonna be expansive on the football? So that could be a question that you can try and unpick, and I challenge you to unpick that. Okay, is that okay? Is the main attribute of a number 7 being a hood runner like Valverde, and can you make it pro by having this technical attribute but not very technical? Okay, so I think you have to just expand on what you mean by a hood runner.
Sorry, I meant a good runner, as in the main attribute is being able to run
fit,
as a number 8.
Physically fit.
Yeah, good stamina.
Yeah. So in terms of when where I did the zones, and the zones where you have to operate, is it this one? Yeah. So if you look at the zones, like you said, like I said, in terms of a box to box and where you have to operate, there's a lot of zones where it will require you to have a lot of coverage on. Okay, all right. I think I've just checked myself. So again, rather than the one, if you're playing, okay, cool. If you're playing the 4-3-3 and you're one of the 2 number 8s, if you're on the left hand side, 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13 and 16 will be your reference point. If you're on the right hand side, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. I would say, in addition to being a good runner, okay, because I think as a footballer, if you're going to pursue football, I believe that you need to be able to run anyway in any position. But in terms of having that longevity and that stamina, yes, although football is a technical game, especially being a number 8, where you're going to be receiving the ball from different angles and be expected to then create the attack. So I'd say honing on your technical skills, your technical and your tactical, how you see the game, how you read the game, how you understand the game, and then also ensuring that you do have good fitness levels as well, because you've got to think about, once you get the ball, you need to have the technical output to execute what your coach wants you to do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. How can I get good positions to shoot outside the box? So again, Lucas, if you look, the clips that I saw of Kevin De Bruyne, and the clip that I showed of the animation, it's about once you're part of the attack and once you've got the ball, can you carry your run? Can you carry your run on to get into positions around 13, around 15, around zone 14? Okay, get yourself in and around those areas. And if it's a case whereby you're asking for the technical output, so what type of foot to strike the ball with, your body shape, your angles, leaning forwards to get the power, non-striking foot beside the ball. But I'd say in terms of good positions, it's about carrying your runs on from midfield when your team has possessions and getting yourself in and around zone 13, 14 and 15. That's the majority when you will be, that's where you'll probably be taking up those shots in and around the box, outside the box. Okay. Another question as a number 8, where should your boundaries be? For example, I sometimes go to lead the press. Would that be good? Okay. So if we're looking at pressing, okay, pressing from the front as a number 9, okay, the number 9 should initiate the press. Ideally, they should initiate the press. Okay, so they should initiate the press, and then if the ball, ideally, most teams don't play with a left-footed, left-sided centre back. So as a number 9, you would be expected to press and shut down the number 6. And if it's on your side as a number 8 and a 7 and 8, if the ball is on this side, then you should be part of the second press. So to try and win the ball back from the second phase. So the number 9 will initiate it, okay, and then you as a number 8, if the 7 doesn't win it, you should then win it if it comes through your way into the yellow number 8. So I'd say, from a coaching point of view, that the number 9 should be initiating the press, okay, not yourself as the number 8 if the ball is played out from the back. Okay, does that answer your question? How can you be positionally aware as a number 8 because there's a lot of fluidity in the midfield? Okay, so by that, do you mean a lot of midfield rotations?
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of, like I said, so in a phase, maybe the 4 could be the number 8, and then you could then be the number 4. Is that what you mean? But is that what you?
Yeah, I mean by the midfield rotation, but how can you improve your awareness, like positional awareness as a number 8 throughout rotations, in possession and out of possession?
Wow, good question. That's a really good question. Okay, again, it comes down to, if I show, wait, let me show you again the zones. So again, if I said to you, do we all know the zones of the pitch? Have we seen this before?
Yeah, I have.
Cool. So again, it comes down to you as a player and for everyone else on the call knowing what zones of the pitch you're expected to occupy and ensuring that when your team has the ball, you're in the main zones required. So if we're looking at a 4-3-3, a single pivot, 2 number 8s, okay, if my holding midfielder has the ball, let me go back. If my holding midfielder has the ball, my holding midfielder has the ball, am I making sure I'm occupying the zones and the half spaces on this side? Again, if a rotation does happen and you find yourself as a number 4, just ensuring that, okay, right, I'm of the width of I'm within the 18-yard box and the halfway line, because that's where you're going to operate. And again, if you become if you find yourself on the left-hand side, okay, within a game, ensuring that, okay, I'm on the halfway line and I'm also on the left-hand side of the halfway line. So it comes down to, one, knowing your zones of the pitch and pitch geography, and knowing where you're required to be as a midfielder. So potentially, if your team is in possession, if the 5 has the ball, okay, are you going to try and find yourself? Are you going to be over here? Are you going to be over here? When you're required, if depending on your team's philosophy, are you required to help and build and create the attack? Okay, does that answer your question? Or is that?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, let me just see. Let me catch up on anything else. Okay, so how can I train long balls when I don't have a training partner? Go out onto a pitch, onto a field, strike. Start at one end of the goal, or start on the halfway line on the side of the pitch, and just refine your technique. Strike as many footballs as you can, and then collect the balls afterwards if you haven't got a partner. And find an open space, open local park, a green space, a pitch, and just practice your ball striking, and then collect the balls afterwards. Does that answer your question? Thank you so much for this call, by the way. Very useful. I really hope to see you again. Cool. I appreciate that. Thank you, Josiah. Yeah, thank you. Cool. Is there any other questions? Probably got about another five more minutes. Thank you so much. Cool. Any other questions?
Looks like we're good to call it there. And if anyone does have any more questions, you can find Mimi on Instagram through our Academy page, and you can drop him a message if you do have any more questions. But yeah, I think we're all done, and the call will be saved. The call will be emailed out to you, so do look out for that. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.
Cool. Perfect. Cool. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. I hope you found it useful. And good luck with your training.
Thank you. See you.
Cool. Cheers. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.